In this video, we'll be taking a look at 5 NBA games happening on February 3rd, 2026, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 10 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 5 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start, if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Boston Celtics versus Dallas Mavericks. The Boston Celtics visit the American Airlines Center on Tuesday night to clash with the Dallas Mavericks in a game that looks lopsided on paper but still has some moving parts. The Celtics are coming off wins over the Kings and the Bucks, with the Rockets waiting for them next. They have taken 23 of their last 33 games, which quietly speaks to sustained control rather than just a hot week here or there. That kind of run builds a calm confidence, the sense that even rough patches inside games can be smoothed out over 4 quarters. The Mavericks are on the opposite swing right now. They have dropped games to the Hornets and Rockets and faced the Spurs after this one. They have lost 4 straight, and that sort of skid can weigh on decision-making, from shot selection to late-game execution. You see players pressing a bit more, trying to fix everything in one possession instead of letting the game come to them. The Celtics are still missing Jason Tatum, which is no small thing, but the rest of the roster around him is in a good spot health-wise. The Mavericks have ruled out Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, Dante Exum, PJ Washington, and Derek Lively II, with Brandon Williams listed as questionable. That is a long list for one locker room to juggle. When that many names are out, rotations get stretched, and role players are pushed into responsibilities that do not always fit their strengths. Boston has been one of the form teams in the league, nearly fully intact beyond Tatum, and they are coming off a statement-style performance where they smashed the Bucks in their last outing. That sort of blowout win reinforces what they are doing on both ends and gives everyone a little extra snap in their step. Meanwhile, Dallas has taken 4 losses in a row, but there was at least a bright spot in how they competed in that narrow defeat to a red-hot Rockets team on Saturday. It showed there is still fight there, which matters, even if the win column does not show it yet. Stepping back, though, the matchup leans toward the visitors. The Celtics arrive as the healthier group overall. They have more bodies they truly trust, and they bring a deeper collection of shot creators and steady defenders. On the other side, the Mavericks are walking into this contest short-handed and overly reliant on Flag to carry huge chunks of their offense. That sort of load invites pressure traps, tired legs, and stretches where the scoring bogs down if he does not catch fire. Over 48 minutes, the edge in depth, form, and two-way balance makes it reasonable to expect Boston to not just win, but to create enough separation to handle a favorite role against a depleted opponent at home. As our first pick for this matchup, the Boston Celtics to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Boston Celtics are averaging 116.4 points on 47% shooting and allowing 110.1 points on 44.8% shooting. They are shooting 36.7% from beyond the arc and 79.4% from the free throw line. They are allowing 36.4% shooting from deep and are grabbing 44.9 rebounds per game. That mix of efficient offense, strong three-point output, and solid work on the glass creates extra possessions and plenty of chances for the scoreboard to keep ticking. The Dallas Mavericks are averaging 114.3 points on 47.2% shooting and allowing 116.7 points on 46.3% shooting. They are shooting 34.2% from beyond the arc and 74.8% from the free throw line. They are allowing 3.5% shooting from deep and are grabbing 45.1 rebounds per game. So even with their current struggles, the raw numbers still show a team that scores at a healthy clip and plays in games where opponents get good looks and put up their own numbers. Put those sets of stats side by side, and the shape of the game leans towards steady scoring on both ends. Boston brings balanced efficiency, and even without Tatum, there are enough creators and shooters to maintain a strong offensive baseline. Dallas, for its part, has an attack that can still generate points when its main options are working, and the defensive figures suggest that opponents rarely feel fully uncomfortable. Rebounding strength on both sides keeps possessions alive and invites second-chance opportunities, which quietly inflates totals over time. Reliable free throw shooting from Boston and respectable production from Dallas adds another layer, since trips to the line can keep points coming even when jumpers cool off for a few minutes. Over 4 quarters, with 2 offenses that understand how to find workable shots and 2 defenses that can be bent, the setup fits a game where the combined score has plenty of room to land on the higher side compared to a more grinding, defensive slog. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Orlando Magic versus Oklahoma City Thunder. The Orlando Magic head into Paycom Center on Tuesday night to face the Oklahoma City Thunder in a matchup that suddenly feels more fragile than it looks on the surface. The Magic are coming off a win over the Raptors and a loss to the Spurs, with the Nets up next on their schedule. They have dropped 5 of their last 7 games, so even that win does not fully erase the sense that they are a bit out of rhythm right now. The Thunder just took a loss to the Timberwolves, then bounced back with a win over the Nuggets, and they see the Spurs after this one. They have won 43 of their last 54 regular season games, which is a massive body of work and a reminder of how strong they have been over a long stretch, not just a week or 2. Orlando is still without Franz Wagner, which hurts both their scoring and their versatility on the wing. Oklahoma City has ruled out Alex Caruso, Ajay Mitchell, and Jalen Williams, while Isaiah Hartenstein, Chet Holmgren, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander are all listed as questionable. That is a lot of important names to keep track of on one side, and it puts a big asterisk on any early read of this matchup. The Magic have been playing below their best lately, but that does not mean they are dead in the water. If the Thunder are forced to lean heavily on their second-string group because of all those injuries, the door opens wide for an upset, or at least a much tighter game than people expect. The core idea is simple: the more pressure that shifts away from the stars and onto the bench, the more variance you get. The Thunder are naturally going to be favored at home, given their record and the way they usually handle their building. Still, that injury report is ugly enough to give anyone pause. You really want to check for injury updates before you place anything, because this line is going to move if they are that short-handed. Honestly, it is tough to feel good about laying a hefty number with Oklahoma City if half of their main rotation is watching in street clothes. There is also a bit of a letdown vibe here, with the Spurs sitting on deck and the temptation to manage minutes or rest bodies lingering in the background. Maybe that is part of why so many key names are being listed as questionable in the first place. Maybe not, but it hangs over the matchup either way. With all of that uncertainty on the Thunder side and Orlando still capable of competing for long stretches, taking the points with the underdog becomes the more appealing angle. As our first pick for this matchup, the Orlando Magic to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. They are averaging 115.4 points on 46.4% shooting and allowing 115.5 points on 47.9% shooting. They are hitting 33.9% from beyond the arc and 79.3% from the free throw line. They are allowing opponents to shoot 36.5% from deep and are pulling down 44.3 rebounds per game. So their games usually feature solid offense, a defense that can be stretched on the perimeter, and enough rebounding to keep possessions alive on both ends. The Thunder numbers are louder. They are averaging 120.9 points on 49.2% shooting and allowing 107.9 points on 43.2% shooting. They are shooting 35.9% from beyond the arc and 82.4% from the free throw line. They are allowing 37.3% shooting from deep and grabbing 43.6 rebounds per game. That mix shows a team that scores efficiently, gets to the line and converts, and usually controls the flow of games while still giving up a fair amount of success from 3. When you line those profiles up, you see a matchup that leans toward a busy scoreboard. One side pushes past 120 points per game with strong overall efficiency. The other sits in the mid-100s with a defense that gives up nearly the same number it scores. Both teams are comfortable at the free throw line, and both allow opponents to find success from beyond the arc, which naturally invites runs of quick scoring. Rebounding strength on each side means more second-chance opportunities, which quietly inflate totals without needing a blazing pace. Even if the Thunder end up resting a key piece or two, their offensive system still tends to generate clean looks, and the Magic defense is not airtight enough to shut that down for 4 full quarters. At the same time, Orlando has enough scoring punch to take advantage of the Thunder allowing over 37% from deep and to keep pressure on the scoreboard with steady trips to the line. Across 48 minutes, the blend of efficient shooting, free throws, and loose perimeter defense on both sides points toward a game where the combined points land on the higher side rather than in a defensive slog. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Chicago Bulls versus Milwaukee Bucks. Chicago walks into Fiserv Forum with the better record, the favorite label, and this shiny storyline that they have finally turned a corner this season. Scratch the surface a little, though, and the picture is a lot messier than that market tag makes it look. They sit at 24-26, hanging on to 9th in the East, and they are fresh off that brutal 134-91 loss in Miami just a couple of nights ago, the kind of game that sticks in your legs and in your head. Blowouts like that can sit in a locker room like a bad echo, and while players will always say they have moved on, you can almost feel the confidence needing a reset after something that lopsided. Their track record when the line asks them to be the bully has not exactly inspired faith either. As a favorite this season, they have been shaky against the number, with a losing mark when they are laying points, yet they are again set up as a modest road favorite here. It is a bit like handing the car keys back to a driver who just hit a curb. Sure, they might straighten it out, but you do not quite relax in the passenger seat. On top of that, they are missing their main engine. Josh Giddey, the hub of their offense and their primary assist source, is ruled out with that hamstring issue, and a few rotation forwards are tagged as game-time decisions. When the lead playmaker sits, the offense often turns into more standing, more isolation, and more forced reads, and that fits the script here, with more weight shifting onto secondary creators who are better as finishers than as full-time organizers. Across the court, the Milwaukee side is banged up but not broken. They are at 18-29. They have dropped 5 straight, and it has been a rough stretch, yet they are finally back home after that tough road swing where they pushed Denver to a tight 2-point game and showed more fight than their record suggests. It is the kind of run where the standings look ugly, but the film shows a team that is still competing and still dangerous if you take them lightly. The market has correctly pulled them down without Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is out with a calf strain until later this month, but their overall shape is closer to scrappy, flawed group than to easy target. Their net rating over the season sits only a couple of points worse than Chicago's, and there is enough offensive punch from Miles Turner, Kyle Kuzma, Gary Trent Jr., and Bobby Portis, all active, to go right at a Bulls defense that has been giving up close to 118 points per 100 possessions. Honestly, that is not the profile of a team that lies down at home, especially with a fan base that can smell a chance to snap a skid and a group that has nothing to protect and everything to prove. So this spot feels like the classic case where the supposed underdog is actually the side playing freer, tougher, and with more value built into the number, while the favorite carries the pressure and the baggage from that recent embarrassment. As our first pick for this matchup, the Milwaukee Bucks to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The posted number reflects a kind of business-as-usual expectation for two teams that have looked more like roller coasters than steady elevators this year, but the setup for this particular night is very different. Giannis Antetokounmpo is still very much a buck right now, despite all the trade chatter, yet he is sitting with that right calf strain and is not expected back until around February 20th. Without him on the floor, Milwaukee shifts into a slower, more deliberate version of itself, leaning harder on Turner's screening and pick-and-pop game, Kuzma's mid-range and post touches, and extra usage for the secondary guards. StatMuse numbers hint at exactly that pattern, with pace dropping and the offense staying only marginally better yet still below average when those Giannis free minutes pile up. It is not that they cannot score, it is that the scoring usually comes from longer possessions, more half-court actions, and fewer of those quick, violent rim runs that blow a total wide open. Chicago is dealing with its own drag on tempo. Giddey is their main tempo setter and playmaker, and with him out, the Bulls are pushed into more inside-out basketball through Nikola Vucevic and a shared steering wheel among several ball handlers instead of one clear conductor. That kind of structure naturally trims fast break chances and cheap points, since you do not have the same instant outlet push and you see more possessions where everyone is looking over to the bench for the call. Across the season, these two teams combined to average just over 228 points scored, and they give up plenty as well, which explains why the total comes in only a little below that combined output. However, that still might not fully capture how much scoring juice is actually missing from the floor, how much travel is in Chicago's legs after that mini-series in Miami, and how both coaches have every reason to simplify and slow things down just to steady the ship. In spots like this, playbooks tend to shrink, rotations tighten, and possessions start to look more like chess moves than like a track meet. There is also the very real chance that a couple of those questionable Chicago wings either sit or see lighter minutes, which would shorten the rotation and tug pace down even more. A thinner bench usually means more tired starters, more walk-it-up possessions, and more late clock jumpers, all of which tilt a game toward that possession-by-possession rock fight feel rather than an up-and-down shootout. So while the reputation of these teams points to points, the specific mix of injuries, fatigue, and coaching incentives for this particular matchup pushes the expectation toward capped offensive ceilings and a lower scoring script than the number suggests. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Philadelphia 76ers versus Golden State Warriors. The Philadelphia 76ers head to Chase Center on Tuesday to take on the Golden State Warriors. Different coasts, different vibes, same pressure to keep stacking wins. The 76ers are coming off victories over the Pelicans and Clippers, with the Lakers waiting for them next. They have won 12 of their last 19 games, which quietly speaks to a team that has pulled itself together after a rocky start. The Warriors just lost to the Pistons, bounced back against the Jazz, and have the Suns on deck. They have taken 14 of their last 22, so the broader form is solid, even if the bumps have been a little more noticeable lately. The 76ers will be without the suspended Paul George. The Warriors have ruled out Stephen Curry, Seth Curry, Jonathan Kuminga, and Jimmy Butler III. That is a heavy list, and it strips Golden State of key creation, spacing, and energy pieces. The 76ers were one of the most disappointing teams early in the season, no way around that. They were banged up, out of rhythm, and inconsistent. Now they are healthier and finally playing respectable basketball, looking closer to the version people expected. Meanwhile, the Warriors have started to wobble, with injuries piling up and forcing role players to stretch beyond what they usually do. Here is the thing, this number on the game does not really pass the smell test. Yes, the Warriors are at home, and yes, they do have the rest advantage with their crowd behind them. But they are down Curry, Kuminga, and Butler, and that changes everything for how they function. Golden State is an average group at best when everyone is available. Without several core contributors, including their best player, they slide down a tier fast, and the margin for error almost disappears. The 76ers did play yesterday, but they looked solid against the Clippers, and they have been a profitable side, sitting at 27-20-2 against the spread this season. Assuming they do not rest key players after that outing, they are more than live here. Honestly, even with a bit of fatigue baked in, the idea of the Warriors being favored with this kind of injury sheet feels off. You can understand why the market leans toward Golden State at home. That building can get loud, and their fans absolutely give them a jolt. Still, the 76ers are in a groove right now, playing with confidence and direction. Lining all of that up, it feels reasonable to expect Philadelphia to step in and handle business against a banged-up Warriors team in this spot. As our first pick for this matchup, the Philadelphia 76ers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. They average 116.7 points on 46% shooting and allow 115.8 points on 46.7% shooting. They are knocking down 35.9% of their threes and hitting 81.2% from the free throw line. They allow 35.3% shooting from deep and grab 43.8 rebounds per game. So their games usually have enough pace and efficiency mixed with some defensive leakage to keep the scoreboard moving. The Warriors sit in a very similar statistical lane. They are averaging 116.7 points on 46.2% shooting and allowing 113.5 points on 47% shooting. They shoot 36.5% from beyond the arc and 81.7% from the free throw line. They allow 35.2% shooting from deep and collect 42.9 rebounds per game. That combination hints at solid offense, generous defense, and a steady diet of long-range attempts. When you put those two profiles side by side, you get a picture that leans toward plenty of points rather than a grind. Both teams shoot well from the field and from three. Both are comfortable at the line and hit their free throws at better than 80%. Neither perimeter defense is airtight, with opponents finding success from deep on both sides. Rebounding numbers are close, which suggests there will be second-chance opportunities sprinkled throughout the game. Those extra shots, especially from three, add quiet fuel to the total over 4 quarters. Free throws act as a safety net when jumpers cool off, and both teams have the accuracy to keep the scoreboard ticking even during slower stretches. So while there might be brief lulls, the overall mix of efficiency, three-point volume, and foul line production sets up a contest where the combined points have every reason to land on the higher side rather than in a low-scoring slog. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Phoenix Suns vs. Portland Trail Blazers. The Phoenix Suns head into the Moda Center on Tuesday night to take on the Portland Trail Blazers in a matchup that feels lopsided on paper but still a little tricky in practice. Road favorite, cold home team, and just enough injuries to make things interesting. The Suns are coming off a win over the Cavs, then a loss to the Clippers, with the Warriors waiting for them next. They have won 6 of their last 9 games, which quietly speaks to a team that has settled into a decent groove, even if it is not flawless. The Trail Blazers, on the other hand, dropped games to the Cavs and the Knicks and see the Grizzlies next on the schedule. They have lost 5 straight games, and that kind of skid starts to seep into confidence, shot selection, even the body language during timeouts. The Suns are still playing without Devin Booker, which is no small thing when it comes to shot creation and late clock rescue possessions. They are also monitoring Jalen Green, who is questionable with a hamstring issue, and hamstrings have a way of turning a maybe into a no at the last minute. The Trail Blazers have ruled out Scoot Henderson, Deni Avdija, and Chris Murray, while Jrue Holiday is listed as questionable due to personal reasons. That is a heavy load of rotation pieces missing for a team that already leans on a fairly thin core. The Suns have quietly been one of the form teams in the league lately, building momentum before they ran into a red-hot Clippers group on Sunday. That loss does not erase the progress, it just reminds them that there is still another level to hit. Meanwhile, the Trail Blazers have sunk into a slump where the injury toll feels like too much to patch over with effort and coaching alone. Lineups get messy, roles blur, and guys get asked to do things that are a little outside their wheelhouse. This could still stay relatively close for stretches, especially if the Suns coast mentally or get a bit too casual with the ball. But when you step back, it is hard to look past a healthier and more informed Suns team facing a severely depleted Trail Blazers squad that is already struggling to steady itself. In spots like this, the team with more reliable options usually finds enough separation, even if it takes a while to show up on the scoreboard. As our first pick for this matchup, the Phoenix Suns to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Phoenix Suns are averaging 114.2 points on 45.9% shooting and allowing 111.8 points on 46.7% shooting. They are hitting 36.2% from beyond the arc and 80.1% from the free throw line. They are allowing 34.8% shooting from deep and are grabbing 43.4 rebounds per game. So you are looking at an offense that is efficient enough, paired with a defense that is not stingy but does not collapse either, and a rebounding base that keeps possessions alive. The Portland Trail Blazers are averaging 115.6 points on 44.8% shooting and allowing 117.5 points on 47% shooting. They are shooting 33.7% from beyond the arc and 77.3% from the free throw line. They are allowing 35.1% shooting from deep and are grabbing 46.8 rebounds per game. Their games lean more toward chaos, with a defense that gives up a lot and a rebounding edge that creates extra chances for everyone, including the opponent. Put these numbers side by side, and you get a matchup that leans toward a lively scoreboard rather than a grind. The Suns bring solid efficiency and strong free throw shooting, so even if they are missing some shot making, they can still cobble together points through structure and trips to the line. The Blazers, for all their issues, can score enough to keep up on their better nights and are involved in plenty of games where both teams trade blows rather than locking each other up. Rebounding on both sides suggests plenty of second chance looks, which quietly inflates totals over 4 quarters. Neither defense is locking down the three-point line based on those allowed percentages, and that opens the door for sudden scoring bursts when a couple of shooters heat up at the same time. Honestly, even if there are a few cold stretches, the combination of decent efficiency, shaky perimeter defense, and free throw reliability points toward a game where the overall scoring has plenty of room to land on the higher side rather than sinking into a slow, low-scoring slog. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed, subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.